3 men, 1 furnace. A fire so hot it killed the soldiers who threw them in. And when the doors swung open, no burns, no singed hair, no ruined clothes. They didn't even smell like smoke. Here's what makes that extraordinary. They knew it was coming. The king gave them a choice: bow down or burn. And without hesitating, without negotiating, without asking for more time, they said no. This is how that happened. Babylon was the greatest empire on earth. Massive walls, unstoppable army. And at the center of it all, one man, Nebuchadnezzar. A king so powerful that nations surrendered just hearing his name. He had marched into Jerusalem, torn it apart, and dragged its people back to Babylon as captives. Among those captives, 3 young Israelite men, given Babylonian names: Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. The Babylonians gave them new names, new language, new clothes, a whole new identity carefully designed to make them forget where they came from. But there was one thing they couldn't replace: their God. Because in a kingdom full of idols, gold statues, and a king who was starting to believe his own mythology, holding on to the God of Israel was about to become the most dangerous decision they ever made. The statue. One day, Nebuchadnezzar got an idea. He built a statue, 90 feet tall, covered entirely in gold, blazing in the Babylonian sun so brightly you could see it from miles away. Then he issued a royal decree to every official, every governor, every administrator in the entire empire. Simple instructions. When the music plays, every person bows down before the statue. And if they don't, whoever does not bow down will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace. Not a warning, immediately into the fire. The music played. Across the plain of Dura, thousands of people dropped to their knees. Governors, soldiers, officials, all of them, faces to the ground. All of them except 3.
There's always someone watching. In every royal court, there are people whose pleasure is to notice exactly who isn't following the rules. They rush to the king. "O king, live forever. You issued a decree. Everyone bows or burns. But there are 3 Jews you appointed over Babylon: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They don't serve your gods. They didn't bow." The Bible says Nebuchadnezzar was furious, enraged. But here's what's revealing. He gave them another chance. He brought them before him directly and said, "Is it true? When the music plays, if you're ready to bow, good. If not, you'll be thrown into the furnace. And what God will be able to rescue you from my hand?" That last line was not just a threat. It was a theological claim. He was declaring that his power was absolute, that nothing, no person, no prayer, no God could stand against him. He was about to find out exactly how wrong he was.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego looked at the most powerful king on earth, and they answered him without flinching. "Nebuchadnezzar, we don't need to defend ourselves to you on this matter. Not sorry, not nervous, not negotiating. The God we serve is able to deliver us from the blazing furnace. He is able to rescue us from your hand." And then, the line that changes everything. "But even if he does not, even if he does not, we want you to know, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden statue you have set up." That is a completely different kind of faith. Most people are faithful when faithfulness is working, when prayers are answered, when things make sense, when the cost is manageable. But these 3 men were saying something harder, something rarer. Our loyalty is not conditional. It doesn't depend on whether we get rescued. We serve God because He is God, not because He guarantees our comfort. That answer broke something in Nebuchadnezzar. His face changed. He turned to his servants and said, revealing more about his wounded pride than his power,
Heat the furnace 7 times hotter. 7 times. Not because it was more effective, because he was humiliated by 3 men who refused to blink. He ordered his strongest soldiers to bind him, coats, robes, and all, and throw him in. The furnace was so hot, the flames killed the soldiers the moment they got close enough to throw him in. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego fell into the fire. Nebuchadnezzar was watching, and what he saw made him stand straight up from his throne. He turned to his advisors, confused. Didn't we throw 3 men in? Bound? 3 men? Yes, O king, 3. Then why do I see 4 men walking around in the fire? Unbound, unharmed. And the 4th one? He looks like a son of the gods. 4 men walking in the furnace that had just killed armed soldiers standing outside it. The king walked to the door of the fire and called out, with a completely different tone than the man who had mocked them minutes before. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out! Servants of the Most High God. His words, his mouth, the same mouth that had just declared no God could save them. They walked out. Every official crowded around them, examining them, looking for evidence of what had just happened. Hair, unburned. Robes, untouched. Skin, unmarked. Not even the smell of smoke. The only thing the fire had destroyed were the ropes that bound them. The thing meant to restrain them, gone. Everything else, perfectly intact. Nebuchadnezzar stood there. The man who built the statue, who heated the furnace 7 times, who publicly declared that no God could rescue them from his hand. And in front of his entire court, he said, Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and rescued his servants. They trusted in him and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve any god except their own. Then he issued a new decree. The same authority he had used to command idol worship, he used it now to protect the very God he had mocked. The king who tried to break them ended up declaring their God's greatness. Not because they argued with him, not because they fought back, not because they launched any kind of campaign, because they simply refused to bow, and then walked out of the fire. Here's what I keep coming back to. The miracle didn't happen before the furnace. It happened inside it. They didn't get rescued on the way in. They weren't spared the experience. They went through it, fully, completely, and came out the other side untouched. And the turning point, the moment that made all of it possible, wasn't the miracle itself. It was those 5 words. But even if he does not, that's where real faith lives. Not in the certainty of rescue, not in the guarantee of a good outcome, but in the decision made before the fire, before the music, before the king even opened his mouth, that some things are not for sale. There's a furnace in everyone's story. Maybe it's not made of fire. Maybe it's pressure to compromise, to go along, to bow down to something you know in your gut isn't right, because the alternative looks too costly. And in that moment, this story asks you one question. Not will you be rescued, but will you go in anyway? Shadrach,
Meshach and Abednego didn't come out of that furnace because the fire wasn't real. They came out because they walked in trusting the one who is.